Good morning. We have here with us today, this weekend for that matter, the one and only great Grandmaster Bill Ryusaki. I'm sorry, sir. I have a terrible time pronouncing your name. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here at our school, Triunity Martial Arts. And I can't tell you how humbling it is to actually be in your presence. So, being that you've been a part of our graduation ceremonies already for the last couple of days, the kids here at Triunity had a few questions to ask you. So I'm going to ask those questions on their behalf, if that's okay. Okay. So the first question that was asked is, how many dojos do you own or have?
We have over 400 right now.
Wow.
And but in Guatemala and El Salvador is where we have the greatest amount. It's all, even though it's a city, within the city they have a whole lot of dojos, and they're all under my name. So.
Wow, that is wonderful. And we're very, very honored to be a part of that. So the second question, sir, that was asked is, why did you start training in martial arts? What inspired you?
Well, actually, it wasn't the inspiration. I keep referring back to this same story. Like, I never really wanted to train. My dad was the instructor, or my instructor, and I had 7 brothers, and I come from the island of Hawaii. So, realistically, I was second to the last, and I really never needed to defend myself.
Of course.
So basically, I told my dad, why? Because I love surfing and all that stuff, that we were always do in Hawaii. So I told my dad, I always was, out of all the family, we were Japanese, ancestry, so very respectful, and we always respect my father. Whatever he says, we do.
Of course.
My brothers were very humble, except I was the renegade, or we call it the black sheep of the family.
You?
And, yes, and I seriously, I hated it. All my friends were playing, and I had to go and train 3 times a week, and we never had a dojo per se.
Okay.
It's a hall in Hawaii. We call it the Barber Hall. It's a hall, and we have to go down there and sweep the floor and put down the mats, the old tatami mats. And then after we're done, we have to sweep the floor, and for the next group of whoever's coming. But and I'm 8 years old, so could you imagine that? I have to go and do that.
Not a lot of fun.
3 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I always told my dad, like, why you do it? Because he never did it for money. He did it because that's what his passion. He had other jobs, but his passion was karate and judo. Okay, so but it doesn't matter in our family whether you want to or not, because your dad is your sensei. You have to go abide by rules, and you have to do it. And then, but I would always question him, and he would always say, someday you understand. Someday you understand. And that's, just kind of like, they were words at one time, but then they became really, really meaningful, because throughout my whole year, all my years after that, I always went back to referring to what did that mean when he says something you understand?
Yes.
Okay, but I have saved thousands of kids from going to jail.
Of course.
Benny the Jet is one of my best fighters ever, and he has that 26 undefeated fights.
Wow.
Yeah. And but he was a renegade. At 14 or 16 years old, if I didn't have him, train, he would have been in jail. So,
wow,
yeah.
Sensei.
So it's and it's a blessing, because all the people that I've trained and worked with and stuff like it, they became somebody or something,
Because you inspired them.
Yes.
Because you help redirect them.
Yes, and it's like what we do with kids. We try to inspire them to do whatever, and whatever you do is good.
Yes.
So, and then the most important thing was that when they go into higher ranks, it's not just how good you are, how good at fighting, but it's love for your fellow man, and also it's very important that education, because we always go and ask your teachers to find out what kind of character you're. This is when you're going into brown belt.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, Sensei. That's very, very inspirational. And yes, you have affected so many lives throughout your incredible journey. You really, truly are a pioneer in the world of martial arts. And once again, it's an absolute honor to have you here at our school. So the next question is, tell us about the kukui nuts that you've given Sensei Carlos, Sensei Emilio, and as recent as Wednesday, you also presented me one, which I'm really, really happy about.
The kukui nut is just came not too long ago, because it's kind of like an inspiration. We give all the black belts. It's kind of like when you become one of my black belts, and you become deserving of all the stuff that we want you to do, then what it is kind of like an award. Okay, in Hawaii, kukui nuts is for what it represents. The lei represents friendship anyway, and then it represents everything that we do in the art,
So it's like a trophy, so to speak, of accomplishments throughout the years.
Yes, but they're designed for people who come in and do like extra,
I see.
all right, or mainly the black belt.
Wow.
So, it started with a black belt, and the reason why you got it is simply because you inspired me. It's like it is, and I'm not just making it up, but you are a major person. It's like from what I saw and stuff originally, and Kuyun obviously tell me about you, and I really never met you. And then when I came here and I met you and how you treated all your students and everything, it's an inspiration. So what I did was I told you I want to give you that.
It was and is greatly appreciated, especially because it came from somebody like you, and I'm immensely grateful and touched that you see me in the light that I am in, and I really appreciate that, because there's always judgment in all areas of our lives. So thank you for judging me based on who I am and not what I look like.
Yeah,
so
well, at
thank
first it was like, oh my God, this girl is the most gorgeous thing, And but then when I came here, it was like, And then another thing is that this whole place, this whole atmosphere, this whole school and something like that, if you go to a place and whether it's a school, an auditorium, a gymnasium, a dojo, and I visited and I've gone so many places all over South America, Puerto Rico, Miami, New York, all these different places. But you go into a place, you don't feel that, the feeling of, God, this is the most beautiful, best place I ever been. And it's like, and when I first came here, nobody was here, and when I walked in, I told Kuina, I said, it's kind of like, I have that feeling, how you have a feeling like
the energy.
This is really, a great, great place. So,
Thank you, sir. That honestly means the world because it's been an uphill battle to maintain and sustain Triunity. And to be here today, it honestly is a huge sense of accomplishment. And thank you so much for being a part of that. Now, I know you have a lot of senseis all around the world. I am very well aware of that. But what, in your own words, what is your opinion of our very own Sensei Carlos? We know he's special. But I want you to tell us how special you think he is, because he really truly is one of a kind.
Okay. I go to Guatemala all the time.
Yes.
Okay, and then what it is that basically the main senses, everybody I produce, they are not perfect. They are not perfect. They all have attitudes and stuff like this. But what I do is I try to bring them down to what I want them to be.
Yes.
Okay. And Carl was with Kuyun when I first met him. He was with Eric Schumann. Eric Schumann runs an empire in Guatemala and in El Salvador. But personally, he's not a good person. He's business minded.
Yes.
Okay. So what happened is that after a while, there were friction. With Schumann, they could have controlled everything in South America, but because of his attitude and his ego and stuff like this, what happened is that whenever somebody goes into an area or location that he was thinking of going, okay, it's a no-no.
He didn't like it.
Okay, so, but Carlos Cuyun, I remember him, and he was what made Eric.
Wow.
He was the one, they go into tournament and they do everything, and when, it's like in my days, when I first came to California, nobody knew what Kenpo was.
Right.
So the only way we were going to do is, I made a team and we had to go out there and we had to fight for what we wanted. Okay, and stuff like this. And then after a while, people will go like this. Wow, who is that? Well, they're from Bill Ryusaki. They're from Hawaiian Kenpo. Well, in Hawaii, we were the same way. We couldn't call, I was not Hawaiian Kenpo. I was Kaji Kenpo.
Okay.
Yes. Kaji Kenpo is the style that came out of Hawaii. But they are very jealous people.
Oh, okay.
And if you are successful in California, they will always talk about you. If somebody or one of your students go.
Yes.
All right, so this is the case the same way with Kuyun. Okay? But whenever I go, and I used to go every year, whenever I go, I would ask Eric, what happened to Pora, what happened to Kuyun, what happened to these different people that I know them, and they are what made you, right?
Right.
Okay. So, that, and then Kuyun became almost like my son.
Yes.
Every time I see him, it was like, when you go, Guatemala is so big. When you go there, and then when you see Kuyun, he's always smiling.
He's an honorable man.
He's the nicest, honorable person ever.
Yes.
And when you see him inside the gym and goes out and tears everybody up and stuff, and then yet, right after that, you go and he's smiling.
He's humble.
Yes. So, anyway, Kuyun, to me, and I went and I told the parents here, you are very, very fortunate. Because this man, is
golden.
Greatest. He's the greatest, yes. So what happened is that I found out why he left Guatemala and stuff like this, and then, to leave a country and then say, go all the way to Canada, and he did. He came out here and then he just worked his way and everything and stuff like this, but his whole heart was Kenpo.
Yes.
And this is why it's like, and then even with me, I always told you, I said, I'll be there anytime you want me. Anytime you want me, I'll be there. I travel a lot.
Yes.
And stuff like this, but Anytime you want me, I'll be there.
You
And
know,
thank God, I'm so happy to be here.
we are so blessed to have you here. You know, Sensei, now that we've had the privilege of meeting you, I can honestly say, we can say where Sensei Carlos gets his demeanor from. I mean, he is an incredible person on his own, an incredible man, but his style, the way he conducts himself, is a reflection of you. And I see his son, Sensei Emilio, who's a reflection of him.
Everybody.
So all the pieces of the puzzle have fallen together for us, and how blessed are we that our children here at Triunity are going to be following the same footsteps. So once again, thank you so much, Grandmaster, for gracing us with your presence. I'm so excited about the ceremonies today. And I would like to, on behalf of everybody here at Triunity, the Elite Kenpo Karate, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the KC Muay Thai family, we want to thank you for being here and blessing us with your presence. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, and then I just want to add to that,
Yes.
okay, because I go to Brazil a lot.
Yes.
Brazilian karate, or Brazil, jiu-jitsu, yeah, that was the thing before. It was, whenever you go to Brazil, that's what every health spa, every studio, it was always Brazilian jiu-jitsu, yeah. And then we went up there, and then right now I have a man by the name of Eric. And now it's completely the opposite, because every time you go to any health spa, it's not the jiu-jitsu anymore, it's the Kenpo.
Interesting.
It's the Kenpo, and again, it's the same thing. We don't do anything different, but we reflect the friendship,
Yes.
the love,
Family,
and then
unity.
it's family, and then that's exactly what it is. And again, I'm not knocking anybody down, but if you go to a jiu-jitsu school, I like I visit different
Yes.
schools.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if I go, and then when you go in, and nobody's friendly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then, and they all have the attitude is like, hey, I'm better than you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the thing, and the other thing is, the judges in UFC,
Yes.
and CISO people, they're all my students. CISO people has been with me 48 years.
Wow.
Okay? Now, nobody ever, okay, in California, wherever you go, and you say, well, how long have your oldest student been with you? And I have a 48 years. I have Danny, who's 47. I have Dan Goodman, who's 43. Now these guys have been all over 40.
Wait, Sensei,
40 years
so
old.
that means you're
So
like that makes you 60,
something-
right?
Yeah. So something is,
Something is very right.
It's and again, it's like anything else, running a studio or running especially a karate studio is very difficult, because it's only, when we think about it, it's only when you have extra money you can go and sign up or sign your kids up and stuff like this.
You're right.
So this is why I always tell the parents, thank you for everything that you've done, because without you we wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
Okay? And also that try to help us as much as you can, because what it is that it's you guys that are going out and telling your sons to go tell your friends.
Yes.
Bring your friends over and stuff like this, and then you understand what we are trying to do.
Yes.
So this is the whole thing.
And you know what, Sensei? Triunity is based on just that, what you just said. I always tell people we're very organic. Everyone here is family. Like everyone here is here because they've been referred by somebody else. And that's why you get that sense of family and unity when you walk in through our doors. We really truly have our own little community here.
Okay, but one in Hawaii we call it ohana.
Ohana, yes,
Ohana.
family.
Okay. And then, like everybody, even in my family, we're very, very close. Everybody, so and all the schools, all my systems, everybody, people would ask me, how come you keep doing it? And that's the same thing I used to ask my dad. You're not making any money.
It's passion.
And stuff like that. why you do it? Why you keep doing it? You know, and then it is. After a while, it's kind of like a reflection because I can make so much money acting and doing stunts.
Yes.
You know, and I said, well, why do I? And a lot of time I would do this. If I have a job coming up and stuff like this,